Today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to change the oil in my wife's Toyota Sienna. It is a 2015 Sienna. It's got 86,000 miles. And I try to take good care of our cars, last a long time. So I'm gonna wash for the first time in a while. And you know, just a basic oil change video. Show you the steps that I take. That does not require oil changes. That's IT work, mechanic work, race car, bad weather car, work car, everything car, big stuff car. And then I use these race ramps. I actually got them for a 2020 Mustang GT that I had that it was actually too low to fit my regular Rhino ramps, which are tucked in a corner over there. And very good ramps, but the race ramps give you about, it's a lower cars can get to it because of the longer raked area there. And then it's actually a little taller than a Rhino ramps as well, so might as well just use them. And this car takes 6.4 quarts of 0W20 oil. I only use Mobil 1 oil since as far back as I can remember. I've had pretty good results. And I create a spreadsheet like this for every one of our cars. So it's quick reference for, you know, all the basic stuff that I'm gonna need. And so here we go. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so it's on the ramps. I want to make sure that it's all the way up. It's right on the edge, but it's okay. It's not hanging off. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So now, wheel chocks. It's in parking brake set. Well, actually, I don't know if that's the parking brake, but it's not going to go anywhere. But anyway, safety. Pop the hood. Kind of hard to do this stuff one-handed. Just remove this. Air behind water, you know, oil, whatever. Every car that I get eventually gets one of these batteries, the Optima, just because they seem to last a lot longer and be very powerful. And every time I change the oil, I check all fluids. This car doesn't have that many fluids, but check them anyway. At least not checkable one. Can't check the transmission fluid on this car. So I check the brake fluid, radiator fluid, oil, It's electric power steering, so there's nothing to check there. And this guy's a pain to change the oil on. Let's get some more light in here. And get my Lexus Toyota oil filter, which comes with the what do you say that? What's that word? Whatever it is. This thing that you'll see. You put this in to drain the filter housing, because it's got one of those filter housings that you don't replace, O-rings for said housing and filter. All Toyota. I always use original Toyota parts, and I buy a new washer for the drain bolt every time. And you also need a special tool for the filter housing. I use a torque wrench to tighten it back up, all the specifications. This special tool here is for the filter housing. You'll see how I use that. I never remember the size of this thing. 17 millimeter, I think. 16, 17, or 15, I don't remember. Oh wait, it should be right here in my cheat sheet. Yeah, I need glasses now. No, I didn't write that down. I probably should write that down because I always forget. Okay. Gloves. Always use gloves. Plenty of paper towels, because it's gonna get spilled. I never used to use gloves when I was younger, but then I got older. I use these for the floor because it's a little warmer and a little softer, a little easier. Sorry about the camera moving everywhere. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I was gonna do this stuff for fun, keep me entertained. Windy day today. So this thing, I remove one of these wings here because it latches on way too tightly otherwise. And it's kind of a pain. Most of my tools are kind of put away in my IT bags. So this, just flip one of these off. That way it comes off easier. Let's get to it. Oh, probably need a way to drain that, don't I? Somewhere to drain it to. Kind of a tight garage, but you know, we'll make do with what we have. These are my containers. That's my container for the generator. This is my car used oil container. Hopefully I don't drop anything on Tesla's hood. Okay. Let's see what we can see here. All right. it's 15. Nope, that's wrong. Probably 13 or 14. I'm back. Ooh, it's gonna be hot. Oh man. 14. Let's write that down. Okay. Wait. Man, I got switched. Wow, I think this, either I just killed it or, okay, there you go, maybe it's fine. Not that hot. I would have thought it'd be hotter. I just drove the car. See, the oil doesn't look all that dirty. It's got about 4,000 miles on it. I change the oil every 4,000 miles. I can link you to a video of a Toyota dude that shows you why you should change your oil every 5,000 miles. I've been doing it every 3,000 miles when I was a kid. Then I changed it to 4,000 miles and went to synthetic. Here's my little drain plug, washer. Man, this wind is not gonna help. Make a mess, isn't it? So while I'm under here, I look at the underside of the engine, and being a Toyota, my experience isn't pretty good. So nothing even wet. You know, you think you'd see a little seepage from the transmission or oil pan gasket or anything, but absolutely not. This car's, you know, first oil change was I think 500 miles. Second oil change was 1,000 miles, and then 2,000, and I slowly increased all the way to 4,000. And now every 4,000 miles or 6 months, which is really 4,000 miles, it gets an oil change. And we'll hope to keep it until it doesn't run anymore, which could be a long time. That time my new washer must have left it at the workbench. So I let this drain until it's a thin line. I'll be back. Alrighty. Man, that wind isn't gonna help. So, washer. I replaced this drain plug once because it was getting a little hard to come off in the beginning, as you saw. Of course, my extra torque down didn't help. I think it's the oil pan that's actually getting a little bit damaged. And in this case, it's pretty easy replacement if I need to. But right now, I don't need to. So when I'm under here and I'm doing the oil change, I check the CV boots, both ends, on both sides. I check for leaks anywhere in the drivetrain. I look at the exhaust. I look at the ball joints, and I can't really test them because it's still under load. But I look at it. Everything on the suspension, shocks, and all that. Make sure there's nothing leaking. Just part of a thorough oil change. And I understand that I'm not normal, but I never claimed to be. So let that drain a little while longer. You'll never get 100% of the oil out. I like to get it down to a very thin line, kind of like now, or a fast drip. I like to go a little bit longer. So this is the oil filter housing. A little salt and corrosion on it now. So that's a super fun one to do. And if you don't pick up on the sarcasm, I mean that very sarcastically. But I suppose it's better for the earth. And the oil that I drain out of here, I take it back to where I buy my oil, which is either AutoZone or Advanced Auto, and they will take it back and recycle it. A lot of times it gets used for heating. Like some mechanic shops have used oil as a fuel. So that's good enough. Now I'm getting the fast drip. So back in here with a new washer. You don't have to replace this washer every time, but I said I'm not normal. Yeah, right there is getting a little hard. It's not all the way down. This is getting a little bit worse, so I'm probably gonna have to do something about the pan at some point. I blame myself. Yeah, 2 spots there, kind of hangs up on. So this, I don't do this by torque, I do this by feel, and maybe my feel isn't great because it seems to be getting damaged. It's not crazy tight, but it's well, here. Apparently I tightened it too much. And no, this is not the final wipe down. When I'm done everything, I come back in here with brake clean and really clean everything off. Let me see. All right, that's the housing here. Yeah, I'm looking at the camera's display to see that I'm actually in frame, and it looks like I am. So the next step is going to be using this guy. So I want to take this off and put this in, drain the oil that's going to come out of there. Let me back up a little bit here. There's the little O-ring goes in here. Fun, 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 right? This is something that Tesla does not require. Believe it or not, it has an oil filter. You can find it online. It says Tesla on it and everything. It's adorable. But it is for the oil for the gears. It's not a transmission, it's just a reduction gear. I think it's 9-to-1. And that's all it is for. So here's my O-ring. I'll replace that, but I'll do that at the bench. Just take it off now because it's gonna fall off. And then my lovely tool, insert in there, and it drains that housing. If you didn't, it'd make a big mess taking that off. None of this is fun. I mean, and by fun I mean none of this is like super, like, you know, clockwork or clean or whatever. It's always some kind of a mess. I use a lot of paper towels, and you know that can't be good for the environment either. However, that's what we got to do. So now we sit here and wait. Same thing as a drain, as a pan drain. So the transmission fluid over here, they say it's lifetime fluid. People say you shouldn't have lifetime fluids on anything. This transmission is starting to have a bit of a slip in second gear, where I'm not sure if you really call it a slip, but it won't go to first when sometimes when it needs to under light loads and slight hill. Time will tell what that means. Very finicky about the fluid level and all that, and I figured, you know what, I'm just going to leave this one alone. Last time I replaced the fluid on my Honda's transmission because I was trying to be preventative about it, it failed within 15,000 miles after the fluid change. Maybe the guy put the wrong fluid in, I don't know. But whatever it is, Honda did cover it under warranty. But I figured, you know what, I tried to do the right thing and it failed, so I'm going to not do the right thing or do the other right thing. Whatever that means. Now, I know there's no O-ring, just temporary, so don't prevent some oil from dropping from there. Now, I take my special tool. There's 2 ears over here on this thing, and it's got slots here to match those up. This is not a Toyota tool, it's a compatible with Toyota tool. Once it's in there, remove this, because if you drop it, you don't want that splash. And then just take this and take it off. It's very hard. It comes to a very positive stop when it does stop. Oh wait, wrong call. This is probably gonna drip oil. So, okay, now I can do it by hand. So you can see the old filter in there. It's not as hot as I would have thought. Considering I just drove it. I mean, it's burning my hand right now, but it's not like, burning my hand. It's just kind of like, it's burning my hand. Yeah, it's time to move it. Okay. Let's go to the workbench. So that's what it looks like. Okay, let's see if we can get this camera situated here while I have oily hands. Probably should have prepped for this beforehand or not take it in one shoot, huh? Told you I'm not a professional. Just washed the Tesla last night in the rain, literally. So I still have to wash stuff out here because I'm washing the towels and stuff and whatnot, but that's a whole different thing. Sorry, I'm trying to move the camera with the paper towels here because my hands are oily. My gloves are oily. You get my drift. So here, I got to replace both O-rings. And the filter. So filter just gets pulled out. There's a dirty filter. I'm gonna try to recycle it. I'm gonna put it aside at some place. So let's just do it. Let's put it over here for now. Then I'll put it in a bag and take it to recycle the oil and see what they say. And then in here, there's a lot of oil in there. I just try to wipe that off as much as I can. Now, if this is a spin-on filter, we'd be done this step by now. And make sure not to leave any, pieces of paper towel behind. You don't want that. So it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect because, it's going to get filled with oil. And take this, clean that off some. I will clean all this off as much as possible when it's back on the car. So now, take this old O-ring, pull it off. Probably fine to reuse it if you had to, but the filter comes with new O-rings. At least the Toyota ones do. Clean off where it sits. That's as clean as we need it. Wipe my hands off. I had the screwdriver to peel off the O-ring, but I didn't need it. So, new O-ring. New O-ring. So I'll take the new oil. This is already a half a quart from last time I used it. Dip my finger in there. Get the new O-ring, get it oiled up. This is so it doesn't bind when you're screwing it back on. It's a very tight fit. Be careful not to nick it when you're doing this step. Kind of roll it back into place. It's almost like I've done this once or twice before. Nice and in place. Take this thing back off. There are specific torque specifications for how tight both of these have to be. Although the housing just comes to a positive stop, doesn't much really matter. Doesn't seem to. Clean out the seating surface here. More clean oil. Oil that O-ring. Put that into place. Screw this back in. finger tight is probably enough. It calls for 12.5 Newton meters, and the housing is 25 Newton meters. I don't really care what that is in foot pounds or inch pounds because I have a wrench that has Newton meters on it. I'm changing gloves because, yeah, oil. Sometimes it's hard to do in the summer because your hands are all wet and sweaty and disgusting. But not really. All right. Let's go back under the beast. Probably should put the new filter on, huh? And that's it. All right. Back under here. Hi. Where were we? We were right here. You see that? I guess so. All right, so this is back. Ready to go. Make sure I can wipe off the oil from that O-ring. In here, I'll clean this. Where the threads are, clean the back of the pan here because I'm here and it's not clean enough. I understand. Screw this back in. You know what? I think I wiped off too much oil off the O-ring, so I'm gonna put a little bit more on because I'm like that. All right, just get a little more oil on that O-ring. The last thing I need is another oil leak. I hate oil leaks. To tell you the truth, I don't really like oil. All right, this is really oily. Don't you worry. Cleaning shall come. I'm gonna go get the torque wrench and set it to the proper specification. I'm gonna change gloves again. Thank goodness they're cheap. And there's 12 and a half and 25. So, take the torque wrench, which is already down here. You won't be able to see this on camera probably, but this side says Newton meters, and the other side says inch pounds because this is the baby one. So I'm gonna take it to 12 and a half Newton meters. So the setting that I have is 1209, and the next setting up is 13.7, and I have a few things in between. I was gonna go up to 13.7 because it's faster, and it's not a huge difference. All right, so that's set to 13.7. So you have the markings on here for Newton meters and inch pounds, so you can read the setting that's on here and then add these as you turn. This isn't that critical, so I just went to the next one up that's marked, which is 13.78. Close enough. Tighten. It's like no effort at all. Ready? That's it. See? When torque wrench does that, it pivots right here. It tells you that's done. So that's done. Now I go to 25 for the other one. This guy goes to 29 inch pounds, so 25.64 is the next written one closest to it. This is not a cylinder head or valves or anything, so it's not a big deal. To be slightly over. And this also takes no effort because once it seats down, it feels like it's already at that torque level. So now you can go away because it's not going to drop. Same deal here. See, it was already there. It's never come loose. So that's done, that's done. So that's done. Now I just have to add the oil, check tire pressures, which I did yesterday, and when it's cold, first thing in the morning before we drive out, 35 psi. They're all within a psi or so. It'll change depending on temperature or if you have a leak. So if you have one tire press that's way different pressure than the others, it probably has a leak. Every 10 degrees of air temperature difference, you got about 1 psi difference. So if you drop by 10 degrees, you lose a psi. If it increases by 10 degrees, you gain a psi, plus or minus. So now, as promised, the actual cleanup work. And this is the part that's stinky. I use green brake clean because it'll kill you less. I'm gonna pull this mat back so it doesn't get dripped all over. Oops. Sorry about that. Let's go back a little bit anyway. So here's where I need to clean. Push this away. While I'm doing this, if you guys have any comments about something I should do differently, any kind of suggestions, I'm absolutely open to it. I was trained by a professional mechanic who ended up being a good friend, but unofficially. And I've been working on cars since I was 14 years old, but no real classroom or actual on-the-job training. And I do overkill on pretty much everything I do. It's kind of the theme of my life. It's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. Gets in trouble a lot of times though. So, see, clean. Now if there's a leak, I immediately know because it's so immaculately clean on here. Squeaky. See, squeaky clean. Yep, more clean, nothing slippery. Good. Now we need to put oil. Oh, here's my other brake. Oh, this is the same brake clean. Sorry, I had two. Okay, so now I'll be back. Now I'm taking the gloves off. Now I'll take my Harbor Freight $7 LED flashlight that mostly works. No CV boot issues. Inner CV boot looks good. No axle leaks. CV boot looks good. Shocks look dry. No brake fluid leaks. Yep, shocks look good. Transfer case, see, transmission, one axle to the wheel, other axle goes to a transfer case for 3 wheels. Not a symmetrical all-wheel drive system as Subaru would say it. Tail housing, dry. Everything's dry. Now I go to the back and check those components back there. CV boost look good. Okay, all looking pretty good. Kind of hard to see the shocks back there, and it's off the ramps and more level. I'll take a look closer back there. But you know, nothing sticking out, nothing, you know, yelling out saying, fix me, fix me. So, now, taking dirty paper towels, my drain thing, wipe off the floor if I spilled anything, a couple little things, no big deal. The tools all get cleaned the same way. Yep. So now I have to put 6.5 quarts of oil in. Taking you guys real time through this. So in my tiny little garage, optimize my space here. This is my coolant funnel, which is nice because it's a nice wide mouth to it. So I'm going to take that. Of course, we're going to clean it first, you know that, right? So now you're sitting on top of the engine. There's this guy trying to step in the oil. Stay. Take this thing, clean it off, because, you know, why not? Put it somewhere where I'll not forget it, hopefully there. Never put it there before in my life. Another towel. It's been sitting under my workbench collecting dust, dirt, whatever, so clean this off. Turn the towel around, clean this off. Put this on. And then begin dropping oil everywhere. I start with a 5-quart container, which will be also my oil collection container. Now, things that nobody talks about. This container. Hi. If you pour it like this, you can get a lot more lean into it, or even sideways before it starts to pour everywhere, and also it won't bubble and make a mess. Now that I've said that, I'll probably make a mess. So, emergency. So, like that. Don't try to dump it all at once. This has a little shield right behind the where the fill hole, which is, you know, awesome. So the funnel can't go in as deep. Oil also kind of gets blocked as it's going in, so I gotta kind of pour it slowly. Not crazy slow, but you know, don't bump the funnel. Ah, one drip. Try to catch it. Where'd it go? Yeah. Maybe hit the funnel. Maybe you guys saw it. I don't know. I don't see it. I shall choose not to worry. Now that's 5 quarts. So then 1 more quart and a half. It's really 6.4 quarts, but you know, don't think it's gonna make a difference, especially because there's always something left behind in the bottles. So that's a half a quart, and the other quart's still in the car, because I just had to go get it because I was 1 short before I started. Yeah, check your materials before you start. It's always a good practice to do it while the oil is warm. It flows faster and the contaminants will be floating in the oil. So you pour it backwards so you can get closer to it before it starts to come out. This is not a Mobil 1 commercial, but I've been using Mobil 1 in all my cars since the Corvette required it. These 90s. And then this gets that. And this. Don't forget this step right here. Now I'm not gonna check the fluids right now because the car's still in the ramps. I want it level. All right, so have oil. Now we fire it up and hope for the best. Plus we clean hands more. I'm a clean freak. I like things clean, 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 clean. Clean, 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 clean. Doesn't feel oily, good. Shouldn't be because I didn't touch any oil. Now we go in the car. We don't hit the Tesla. Come back up in here. I can't crank this car without starting it, so kind of have to start it. Oil light came on right away. I don't hear any major ruckus in the valve train, so we're good. So now I go into here, trip B. I could reset that for the oil changes, and then I go into these controls here. Oh, first to do that, then I go into settings. Maintenance reset, yes. Maintenance reset complete. And then here where I have a timer done, so I have to go back into home. Okay, apps. It's only been 86,000 miles. I'll get it someday. Maintenance. Oil change, the only one I ever do. Reset. Yes. So it's been reset. So in 6 months, you know, 6/10/2023, and I have a 3,900 miles. That way gives me 100 miles leeway. And then that's pretty much it. Now I go check for leaks. Let it run while I do that. Car's angry because the keys are in my pocket. So there's a filter housing. Looks pretty good. Drain plug, clean. All clean. There's your TV boot, struts. Anyway, that gets hot. There's the car. That is from the air conditioner. So it's looking pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Quiet. So I'm gonna take it off the ramps and check our fluids again. Or check our fluids. Oh, there's so much more to come. Oh, excuse me. A little makeshift tripod here. Yeah. Don't forget to remove this. this, my anti-spider paper towels. So, what I do here also is I write down the miles. Or I take my phone, where's my phone? And I'll take the picture of the odometer from my service records to know when the last oil change was. I could write it down, but that would be a waste of paper and trees. Right? So then this is what I do next. I get this and I put it in the fuel because that's where it's supposed to go. Next time I fill up the car. So this is every oil change I do this. Maybe it's overkill, but you know, it keeps the fuel injectors and valves clean. Never had a car stutter because of dirty injectors. I already set the tire pressures and so I spilled. I'll clean up the filter, the funnel, both F words, right? Put that away in a little bit. All the tools get cleaned up with Windex or stop. Take the tension off your torque wrench. I don't like these torque wrenches. Next time I'll get something different. Snap-on is really expensive though. These are most of my tools are Craftsman because of the lifetime warranty, not because I think they're the best in the world. My favorite tools are Snap-on, but I don't have any because they're expensive. But I have used them. Away. These would be used. So now the area I was working. And so I spill over here. So over here. Whew. Gotta hold my breath in that one. A lot of times I use a fan so that it doesn't so it's not nothing. Most of the time when I do that, I just hold my breath. Now, piece of advice. When you use a funnel for the draining of the oil into another container, if you have space like that, it's no big deal. But when it's tight, you want a funnel that has these little flutes so that air can get out. Otherwise you get splashing oil from the top, and that makes a mess. Let's see how I do on this. By the way, this is just happens to be a hefty container. I just got it because it had smooth edges. It was tall enough to hold the oil and good shape. I don't like the ones that I've seen that are dedicated for oil because they usually have a flat bottom and a little hole that the oil drains into, and it just splashes everywhere. Especially with the thinner oils that come out so quickly. This is my own concoction, invention, whatever you want to call it. See here, I'm kind of going blind. I can't really see the oil fill line on the other side. So I'm hoping for the best. I'm looking through the hole now, let's see. It should not all fit in there unless this car is burning 1.5 quarts in 4,000 miles. Boring. Okay. Now it's going to jump on the floor. Unless I'm quick enough. That was quick enough. Now I'll get the second container. I guess I could use one of the quart containers. Where I have the juice containers or iced tea containers you saw. Nope, not going to fit. Haven't done this in a while. So here you go, green tea. I don't get it because it's green, because I like it. And that wind is not helping. Doesn't seem anything crazy on the bottom of this pan here. You could take your oil and send it out for analysis and all that, but I've never done that because, you know, if it's gonna blow, it's gonna blow. If it's not, it's not. Now more cleanup. I don't make the inside of this drain here perfectly clean because there's no point. But I do some cleanup. That's good enough. Now, there. This, just clean it off so it's not dripping everywhere. And it goes back to put away where you saw it come out of. You saw the yellow one. That's done. Now my hands are a little bit oily. This guy, ready to go for recycling. I could hold that back for the next oil change, but I won't. Try not to get this stuff on my fingers. All the parts here that are external to that oil get cleaned up. Clean up. Done. So now I check the fluids. Workbench over here. So now I'm gonna get the this left-handed. So washer fluid is no big deal. I'll fill that up, and this car is weird. It feels like to here, but there's like air pocket in there, so it eventually goes down, but can never get it in one shot. So battery terminals are tight. Don't look too bad. A little corrosion there, so we're gonna lubricate that. Brakes looks up to be up to about here, so it's above max. Brakes were just done. Fluid's actually kind of clean. Coolant, it's good. Just below the max, but you can get hotter and fill up more. So no power steering, no transmission. I gotta check the oil, which can actually be a little tricky on new oil because it's kind of hard to see. There's a drain right there. Let me get the paper towel. Yeah, lots of paper towels. So first, pull it out and wipe it off. You will see there's two little, if you can see there at all, there's two little indents in there, and that's supposed to represent a quart. So it's supposed to be between those two. Being that I just changed it, I put 6.5 in, it should be to the top or very close to the top divot. Super hard to see and look at it against the light. It's just below the top divot. It's a clean engine. It goes back in. Clean, clean, clean. Now you're going to see some craziness. Get some washer fluid in there. Right there. I've been using this Rain-X washer fluid, which seems to make no difference whatsoever. And I have this little thing on there that you can turn it off and turn it on, so you can just go like this and not spill anything. And we're done with that. Next bottle. Back to standard washer fluid. See, you can't fill it all the way because dumb design. So open it once and close it again for get the air out. What was that? Yeah. Okay. Clean. Ooh, that's a bug. Ew. Anybody wonder what kind of bug that was? I didn't kill him. He killed himself. Leaves or seeds. Oops. Okay, so now next crazy Rob step to do. Power lube, multi-purpose lubricant. Should do this on a Tesla as well. Locks, latches, and hinges. So my screenshot off here. There you go. So I go right where the pivot point is. Give a little shot of lube. You don't want these things breaking down. You'll be able to open your hood. Gotta go back to that, wipe it off a little bit. One-handed pivot point. Oops. One-handed. Makes it hard. Now, with these sliding doors, there's not much you can reach really. So what I can do is contact area there, this little slide place there. I can do this latch. Go we go. And then back here I can do this pivot, this hinge or whatever this is, pivot point, springs inside, and I can do this. And not much more I can reach in there. At least it's nice out. We ain't doing this, it's 20 degrees out. Other than the wind. A lot of air coming out of this thing. I will come back around and clean up whatever mess I'm making here. This one doesn't need that much because it's inside. It is, plastic is breaking over here though. Okay. Other door. Oh yeah, so the driver and passenger front doors. You do this standard. This oil kind of sucks itself in. So I don't have sagging hinges and locked up doors in freezing cold weather and all that because of this. These low steps. And get this sliding door too. A little sloppy there. Can't really do the tracks on these. Nothing much to get to. This car does have a 100,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty that we bought for it, because these doors will probably break at some point and they're so expensive to fix. Okay, trying to get this all in one shoot. Let me do the front passenger door. Yeah, it's really getting windy out there. Okay. So most people here would be done. I, however, am not. Because I, however, and not a normal person. So you may not be prepared for this next step. No one usually is. I'm just trying to locate things on the tiny little screen there. Okay, so this is where my craziness comes in. One of the places anyway. The Rob special. Whoa. Whoa. Spray it down. How do you keep the engine so clean? Every oil change, I spray it down with a little bit of water. Oh, excuse me. And wipe it up. So that way, at 86,000 miles, this engine has never been washed because it doesn't need to be. And I have not lost alternators from spraying it down or had any other electrical issues from spraying it down because I'm just misting it pretty much. And it just makes it look nicer, keeps it clean, doesn't require massive cleaning. Little things that I do since I was in my teens, basically, learning as I went, learning what not to do as I went. I have killed alternators and had cars not start because of wet distributors. You live and learn. So this is just one of the little things that I do because I can. You can't expect a shop to do this for you because, you know, they're charging you by the hour and they got to make some money. But I do expect the shop to be clean when they're changing the oil. Nobody cleans like you saw me clean down there. And I've had the oil change for me a couple times and the next oil change is kind of dirty down there. So that happens. If you want to do something right, you do it yourself, right? Unless of course you have no idea what you're doing, then it's not a good idea. And I've been in that category too. Address this battery slight corrosion that I found. Okay, so that's clean. See, takes 2 seconds. The battery corrosion. Definitely clean. Put a little bit of that lube on here. And right here. That was a lot. So, come back in, just dab off the extra. And that should be enough. Also, a good rule of thumb, replace your car battery every 5 years. Unless you have a battery that's like this one with a longer warranty. Although I don't know the warranty on this anymore. But, you know, the other side of the hood gets done when the car gets washed. In this case, not that often. So now we know the oil is the proper level. Battery's been cleaned and lubricated. Air filter gets changed every 30,000 miles. It was done at 60,000, so it's not quite due yet. Cabin filter also every 30,000 miles. And this is what 86,000 and change miles looks like. And now, still not done. Normally I do the tire pressures the next morning so the car is nice and cool. Tire pressures are supposed to be checked when the car is cold. Inspection's coming up due in May. You can do up to 3 months early. We have a stink bug that needs to be extracted. And now do the wipers. I change the wipers every oil change, which is about 4,000 miles, 4 or 5 months. because, well, I told you I'm not normal. And I use, are they over there? Oh, these got blown off here. These are Hondas from my son's Civic Si. Toyota. I don't have a place to keep these. Even the Tesla has them there. All right. Wiper change time. These are about $4 or $5 each from Toyota. So why spend $15, $20 on the aftermarket? The aftermarket used to be cheaper, but became not so cheap. So, yeah, I don't know, this is all a mess. My OCD is kicking in a high gear. So, wiper change. Not that hard. Kind of got to know what you're doing, but not that hard. So these are the factory ones. You pull this clip up, slide this down, and I lowered this. Two-handed is better. Slowly, because if that snaps back and hits the windshield, buy a windshield. So this is your wiper blade. It consists of this. I already have the other parts because I ordered them in a quantity set from a Toyota dealer. Conascelli Toyota is where I go to. They have really good parts counter, really good, you know, ship parts to you and all that, competitive prices. They kind of got it. So this pretty much slides back. You have this little molded in the rubber clip, so to speak, that holds it in place when you put it there. Well, now it came off because I pulled it. But anyway, so slide that off. Save these little metal rods. Not really rods, but the rubber goes away. They're bowed. You want them to be bowed, you know, towards the windshield. So it's putting pressure on the windshield. So take the new blade, same orientation, because why not? Take the boat in. There's a little channel there that goes in. It's the top channel. Pull it in there. And kind of put it in there. Your hands will get dirty because the graphite grease to come on them. It's like a dry grease. Put the other one, same orientation. You want to be bowing, I guess, bowing away, you know, bowing like this. So when you put them down on the windshield, it's putting pressure on the edges. Make sure it's all the way in the channels on both sides. Then you go in here and you slide it on. Make sure to not miss any of these guys. That'd be disastrous for your windshield. Slide this on. Make sure it's not in here, but you know, there. Is that clear? And then all the way up. And then kind of feel it click into place. That one's done, but not quite. Because of the graphite grease, and Trico used to come with little alcohol pads. If you don't remove some of this, it'll leave marks where it stops up, you know, on the cycle up and down, so there's a lot of goop. So I just wipe it down a couple times. Fill that out. Wipe it down one more time with dry. And then we put it back in the car. Yeah, details. Okay, I'm gonna put this down on the hood, which I should never, ever, ever do. But this entire hood has got PPF film on it, so it's not gonna hurt it. So now we take this up. Same way I took it off. In there, up, clip. Done. I will also clean the windshield where this sits, so there's any debris doesn't smear on the window. Possibly scratch the windshield. Take that off. Same thing, except passenger side is way smaller. Similar size to the rear, but the rear for some reason don't have the graphite grease on it. So, just match it by size. Gotta be the rear, so it's this one. Yep. So same process. And your hands will get dirty. You can use gloves for this if you feel better. It's like graphite grease. And then it goes back in the car. Same process as before. My super professional, non-professional video skills. Now the rear one is interesting. The rear one is completely different. For whatever reason, they just designed it entirely different. Don't really know why. So where's my water bottle? It's hidden. So you have to get it halfway down and shut off the ignition so that it stops in the middle of the windshield. Close this. I don't like to dry wipe. About car windows now, guys. Okay, that's wet. So now I go in the car. Not sit on my phone because of Ben key and all that. All right, so ignition on. And I'm gonna wipe. No, I didn't do it. Turn it off. Caught it in the cycle. So this one, now that it's down and you can see it, you literally take it and you break it off. Now one-handed is gonna be hard. So I just slide it off. Slides on and off the same way. So this piece comes with it and this clips on right there onto that part. Make sure the ignition is off. You don't want to wipe right now. So now it's the same process to go and replace the wiper blade. Except this one is not greased for whatever reason. Maybe they don't care. Maybe a cheaper vendor. That's the one. Same exact process. Except it doesn't have those little grommet bump stops like the other one does. It just kind of is smooth all the way. So I'm going to slide this on here. Make sure it's in the proper channels. And then we'll go to the car. This may be difficult to do with one hand. So we're going to give you a top view here. You may not be able to see exactly what I'm doing. I'm not going to be able to see anything there. I should get a different contraption here. So basically what I'm going to do is, all right, I'm going to show you that I'm going to do it. See, when you put this down, that's where it clips onto the other piece I'm holding in my hand. So I'm going to slide it through those holders right there. And then I'll just clip it on. So I'll still hold the camera, but you probably won't be able to see it as I'm doing it. Nope, I can't hold the camera. So you can watch from here. Double check everything. It's all good. More lube. Ignition back on. Of course, you have to detect the key. Okay. I didn't wipe very well, did it? Clean where it sits, because nothing ever gets cleaned up there. The car was just washed. Oops. I would not be wiping this tailgate if it was all filthy dirty. I'm not even gonna wipe the bottom part, but just to here. But the car was just washed. This is not the best cleaning job ever of glass. Car needs to be detailed anyway. But anyway. What the heck? Not that dirty. It's a car wash. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this stuff away, take the oil for recycling, clean up the garage as promised. Sorry guys. As promised, clean up where the wipers sit. This is not how I clean glass, by the way. This is just, you know, getting specific areas for a specific reason. Everything's clean. New wipers. Never have to worry about not seeing in the rain. The windshield always gets treated with Rain-X so that it beads up. Still gotta get the stink bug out. And that's pretty much it. There's not much to lube in here, so I don't bother. Sometimes I do try to get in there, but that's it. So the oil's been changed. Locks, latches, hinges. All the fluids checked, all drivetrain components checked. So the only thing I would do normally is the next morning I would do the tire pressures, but I did that yesterday when I did the Teslas, first thing in the morning. This car does not require any of that. It requires wiper blades once in a while. Probably should lube the hinges once in a while. Rotate tires. There's a whole video about that on my review before this video. So any questions, let me know. I am not a professionally trained mechanic. I've been doing this on my own. My buddy that had that inspection station moved out of state, and he taught me a lot of what I know. A lot of it was self-taught as well. So that's how I do things. I took no responsibility. If you're gonna do it on your own following this video, this is not an instructional video. It's just a video showing how I do it. It's worked for me. And any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And also feel free to contact a professional mechanic. Bye. Okay, so the last step I do is I document everything on a spreadsheet that I used from Excel. It's like an invoice spreadsheet that I modified to have the data that I need. And I just created one, and I put the car's mileage and everything on it, all the part numbers and everything that I used for the maintenance or whatever service I do for any car. And that way, it's got the total down there. Of course, there's no labor charges. I just made a company name, and typically I'll have my information here and the VIN number there, but I didn't want to share all that in the internet, so it's not there. But you see all the part numbers and everything that was done. That way it's fully documented, and when you go to sell a car, you have all the documentations from day one. So that's it. Any questions, let me know.